Alrighty, we are live. I hear some brushing there. Welcome back. It is debate 18. It's debate night. It's been a while since the last few. I'm Ice White, creator of Game Global. I'll be hosting this debate between Day Game and Social Circle Game between Dean Raymond and Michael Sartain. Generally, I think the main topic here is really going to be coming down to the effectiveness of cold approach and various other things related to that. Drop super chats to support our mission to save men so we can do more debates and crazy shit. Let's get started. I'll probably get involved.
Send us money. Save us now.
Save us now. Misogyny. Michael, what's your position where Day Game, Social Circle Game, and cold approach in general are concerned?
Yeah, cold approach is great. It's just cold approach with intent that seems to be problematic. It's something, I've had at this point 4,400 clients, and I also host, at this point, I've hosted 68 beauty pageants. And I talk to these really attractive women. I ask them all the time, like, are you meeting guys that come up and show any kind of intent? And the answer is never. We're talking about girls who are like 9s and 10s. The answer is never. So I went and reverse engineered that. And then we also looked up the peer reviewed data in sociology, evolutionary biology, and evolutionary psychology. And then my clients, once I started explaining to them to stop showing sexual intent on the rip, they started doing much, much, much better. Unless these guys were like in the top 4.5%, like most good looking men, they could show intent. But for the most part, the other guys were doing that, and it was problematic. As far as social circle is concerned, I mean, the main thing about it is access. So like, for instance, I'm just going to be around more attractive women than anybody just doing cold approach. So my cold approach works because I end up at a mansion party where there's like 7 girls for every guy. And that has to do with my social circle, my networking ability, my ability to garner access because of female teammates that I have in my life and because of high status guys that I have in my life. Yeah, my issue is nothing to do with like actual cold approaching is extremely important. That's why I have 8 immersions a year here in Las Vegas, and each guy has to go up and talk to 50 girls every single night. It's not cold approach. It's cold approach with intent that I have an issue with.
Alrighty, Dean, what's your position in this?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the videos on Michael's Instagram that I wanted to talk about because I just wanted to get clarity on this. I saw a video where you said, gone are the days that the average guy can walk up to an attractive girl and say, hey, I thought you were pretty, and proposition her and show intent.
Yeah.
That's not my experience. I don't agree with that at all.
So you think in general, you just go up to really attractive women and show sexual intent and then it works?
Definitely. If you do it in a certain way. Because there's a double standard. There could be one guy, and if he's stifled, he's nervous, he doesn't have a rock solid self-image, he's low on confidence, we know that his sub-communications, the way that he comes across, is not going to be attractive. By the same token, there are guys out there that truly believe in themselves. They do have confidence. They've got that charisma. And when we look at the fact that attraction isn't a choice, it doesn't matter if it's a 5 or it's a 10. The way that a man behaves when he approaches a girl is the determinant factor usually as to whether she finds him attractive and is interested or not. So that's my argument about that. And
yes. So, I mean, the psychological data does not back up what you're saying, and neither do my 4,400 clients. In general, there are definitely guys who go up and show massive levels of intent, and it works, but it's because she believes that his SMV is equal or higher than hers. And because of social media, because of dating apps, most women, their SMV is inflated in their own minds. And so the other thing is, like, if what you're saying is true, then what my guys should be doing should not result in any should not result in any dates, should not result in any relationships. And it does, like insanely high amounts. And so when I go and I talk to, beautiful women about this as well, I'm like, hey, how'd you meet the last 5 guys you dated? It's never a cold approach, ever. And it's not cold approach because it's not cold approach because they're like, oh, a guy came up to me and said something weird. It's because they're on stage in the VIP with me. It's because they're at the mansion party with me. It's because they're at Coachella with me. It's because they're at an EDC on the Marquee Sky Deck with me. And the reason why I'm at those places and never pay any money to go to those places is because of social circle. And so social circle is always, there's just no way, and I really hope you're not trying to make this argument. There's no way you can be around as many 10s as I can doing what I do. There's no possibility of it. And the reason I get to the places I get to is because I do not show intent to women. I friend zone every single woman I meet, and then they, through what a concept called mate choice copying in humans, they end up generating attraction in themselves for me. And there's tons of data on this. Lucy Hunt's study shows that as it shows the level of attractiveness between mates in the first month had a correlation of 0.72, but after 9 months, it was 0. This is where the guy who's a 5 can date the girl who's a 10. And there's also plenty of data that shows that your concept about basically mirror neurons, where you show like a positive mental state, that absolutely works when motivating your employees, when hanging out with your friends. But your sexual intent does not make women want to have sex with you. There is not one single shred of evidence anywhere that that works. And I can give you 4,000 clients that'll tell you that that doesn't work.
Okay, so when you're talking about whether cold approach works on certain women, are we talking about the
cold approach works on any woman? That's not my point. It's not cold approach. So here's the thing, Dean. Like I understand that what I do is there's only one of me, but there's like millions of pickup artists. For what I do is we show no intent to women. We make women compete for our attention. By definition, if I show intent to a woman who's done nothing to earn it, meaning she's only attractive, if I show intent to a woman who's done nothing to earn it, by definition, my intent is worthless. I only reserve my sexual intent for women who show me compliance, appreciation, or approval. Those are the only women that I'm going to do that with. And when I go meet these women, I have other beautiful women with me. And that is one thing. There's tons of books you can read. Why Women Have Sex by David Buss and Cindy Meston goes over this. There's tons of books and there's tons of studies that show when men are featured with other attractive women, other women find those men to be more attractive. And so that's what I do. And often it's cold approach, but it's not cold approach with intent. I totally
agree with pre-selection. If a man is seen with lots of attractive women, he is by default automatically attractive to other women. But the question I've got to you is, these beautiful women, when they're in a coffee shop, when they're in the gym, when they're walking back home from their yoga class, do you truly believe that these women are never giving their number up, never going on a date with some guy that's approached that woman?
Yeah, I mean,
generally,
yeah, no, it definitely happens, but generally it's going to happen with guys who are more physically attractive on average. I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions. There certainly are. But what I found after being in this space for 18 years, I was an approach coach for several pickup companies for years before I gave that whole thing up. 20 years ago, right? Me and Mystery met 19 years ago. Mystery's actually here in my building right now. When I started doing that a long time ago, I gave that whole thing up once I came to the realization. What I did was I reverse analyzed. I'd be in a city like Atlanta, San Antonio, Dallas, San Francisco, San Diego, someplace like that, or Miami, and I would find girls that were stunningly beautiful. Two types of girls, some that were taken, so they're in a relationship. And I would ask them, like, how'd you meet the guys that you dated? And I would also turn these women into wing women. I don't want to create chaos in their life, but they would introduce me to other women. Number two, I would find women that were attractive, and I would do the same thing. I would friend zone them, and they would introduce me to tons and tons and tons of other women. So it was very easy to do because I was able to generate attraction. If there was a woman in a coffee shop, what I would do is go up to her, be like, hey, how you doing? Logistical questions. And then I would probably invite her to something. I would invite her. It's an invite opener. And I would probably invite her to something. And in doing so, what happens is it makes the bridge for us to see each other much, much more solid. But there's tons of data that shows that men, when they show intent off the rip, are less attractive to women. Tons of it. And I've got some of the data right here I can show you. But when women are surveyed on a regular basis, when women are surveyed, they state that the thing that they find the most attractive is when they're uncertain about a man's intent. And that data is conclusive. And so that's what I do. I have a ton of women competing for my attention. They're uncertain of whether or not they like me. The girl that I'm seeing now, she told me, she's like, I wouldn't have noticed you at all. You're not my type physically, but I saw my roommate was interested in you, and that made me interested in you. And I showed no intent to her roommate. And so doing this, not only do you get into better events, you're just around more attractive women.
Okay, so just to clarify that question then, so when we're talking about a particularly beautiful woman, the question I've got is, are there guys out there that are approaching these women? They don't have built-in status, they don't have a social circle. There's some guy on the street, on the beach, in a coffee shop, in a mall, and they have something about them whereby they approach that woman, whether it's direct or it's not verbally direct. And that woman says, yes, I'll go on a date with you. And she goes on a date.
Is it direct or not? Is it direct or not? So he's intimating sexual intent off the initial.
Let's go with that, because the truth is, the way that I'm living my life and the way that I meet women is totally contradictory to what you're saying. I show intent straight away.
But my client, no offense, my clients and I are with more attractive women, so that's the main difference, and more women in general, and so that's the main difference. What I'm saying is it?
But that's
can
not
you
true.
do what? Can you, bro? You're about to get this. You come on, bro. You've at least looked at my Instagram. There's no way you believe that. There's no fucking way you believe that.
I absolutely believe that.
That you're with hot. Okay, bro. This is all we're doing. That's all we're doing for the rest of the show, bro. That's all we're doing for the rest of the show. Have you been to Chelsea in London? Yes, I've been to Chelsea, bro. This is all we're doing for the rest of the show. Okay, ready? Okay, can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Ready? We're gonna show your video like this, bro. Bro, you are out of your. No, hold on. Sorry, I can't hear you. The music. All right, we're just gonna keep going through these, and you keep saying that you are around women as attractive as I am on a regular basis.
Have you been to Bali?
It does, but yeah, you're going to Bali where there's like a bunch of poor women there. They're like third world country, of course. You're talking about picking up, bro. I'm doing this in LA. I'm talking
about Russian models that look better than those girls there.
Yeah, bro. But the problem is you don't show that. There is no. I've been watching your social media, bro. We could have had a fine discussion. As soon as you said that you're around more attractive women than me, that is insane, bro. No one is going to believe you. And I'm doing it in the United States. I'm not going to Medellin. I'm not going to Poland. I'm doing this in the United, bro. Really? Hold on. Wait, everybody stop what you're doing. He's with hotter than, no, let me finish here.
What's wrong with Poland?
He's with hotter women than me. And like you're right there with 2 Chainz, right? Bro, come on, man. Come on. I appreciate the fact that you do cold approach and it's direct. You're not around more attractive women than me. You're just not. I'm sorry, brother. No one is going to agree with you on this.
I'm not. No, that's what I was about to say. I'm not around a higher volume of attractive women than you, but women in those videos that you're showing me, I absolutely attract them from direct game.
Why aren't you showing that? That would be my. See,
I can send you some videos later if you like. It's just
I watch tons of your videos, man, and like none of the girls look like that, and it wasn't large groups of women like that. I understand what you're doing, but what you're doing is getting better at a horse and buggy, and I'm teaching guys to ride a bullet train. What I do is more efficient. I'm just around more. Like the question is this, man. Let me ask you this, Dean, real quick. Just be honest with me if you agree with this statement. If I put you in this situation,
nothing bad is going to happen. Nothing. I don't know why you would ever want to come out to Sahara tonight, because there's no bikini show, or 10 of them. There's nobody here that you want to see. Wait, what's going on here?
If I put you in this position, would you be able to get laid?
No problem.
Okay, so why aren't you in that position, brother?
Because that's not how I live my life. You know,
you're talking really about. We're having a debate, though, so you kind of do have to explain why you think that what I do wouldn't work.
I don't think what you do wouldn't work. I'm not saying that what you do doesn't work. I'm saying the average guy does not need to build social networks and become an events manager to be able to get access to beautiful women.
None of us are events managers. None of these are my events. These are all events that we help other people with. So we don't do any of that. By the way, when you say the average guy, he's an average guy. He's an average guy. He's an average guy. He's an average guy. Actually, he's below average. He's 4'11", 4'11", 4'11", 4'11". He's an average guy. He's an average guy. He's an average guy. He's a 5'8" Indian man. He's an average dude, don't say this doesn't work for average guys. By the way, this is in Bali.
I also didn't say that. Yeah, I also didn't say that.
You did say this wouldn't work for average guys. You just said that a second ago.
No, what I'm saying is the average guy, if we look at our target audience, who are the guys that are struggling with women? What's the reason that these guys get to pick up in game? They lack confidence.
Generally because access.
They don't have social skills.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what is a quicker route to sorting that guy's problems out? Is it teaching him how to get to parties when he goes to that party, he's going to be completely stifled? He's not going to be able to attract these women in the first place. Or is it working on his confidence and his social skills?
So you're doing the whole same fallacy that everyone who debates me does. And again, you're at a massive disadvantage, and I apologize. There's only one of me, but there's several pickup artists. I do not teach guys to not do cold approach. They do cold approach. They're extremely calibrated. The difference is, like, so for instance, for me, I managed a strip club for 4 years. I got to a point where I was around so much nudity and so many women objectifying me that their physical attractiveness no longer worked on me. I didn't stare at their boobies. I wasn't affected by their physical attractiveness. Well, that's what we do in our program. That's why our program is called Vegas Immersion, is because they come here, they're surrounded by super attractive women, so they're not stifled. They're not stifled. That's the whole point of immersing themselves being around beautiful women. And you can even admit, if you were in a lifestyle like mine, where you're constantly surrounded by beautiful women and your type of girl comes up, you feel nothing. There's no nervousness. It's just, hey, I get to express myself, be myself, have a blast when I hang out with this girl. And that's what my clients feel, because they're so used to being around women that they're our type. That's the thing.
Okay, so you think the route to confidence is to be around attractive women and get validated and get recruited?
The root of confidence is action. That's why the course is called Men of Action. The root of confidence was for me to get my instructor navigator license certification from the U.S. military. The root of confidence was for me to get promoted to captain. The root of confidence was for me to bench press a new max, 11 or 13 times. The root of confidence was for me to build an 8-figure business. The root of confidence was for me to run as far as I could in a marathon. The root of confidence was for me to get several of my clients to go from considering taking their own life to dating the woman of their dreams. My root of confidence only comes from action. It's only from action. And so that's what our ancestors did as well. Sitting there being sorry for yourself or trying to hype yourself up before you go hunt the gazelle 20,000 years ago. No, it is the man who took action. Violent, quick, extreme action. He is the one who felt the best. That's where you get the dopamine response. It is physiologically impossible to be depressed and have a basketball in your hand at the same time.
Okay, so you're telling me that the route to your confidence is the fact that you've got all of this lifestyle, this money, this physique.
Well, the physique a little bit, but no, I never said anything about money. I have a business that does well. I have to solve problems in my business all the time. That part I do appreciate. So I believe the ultimate expression of masculinity is, 1, the willingness to die for your tribe, which I have. And number 2, the willingness or the ability to accomplish goals with other people. That's where we find the efficacy and the self-esteem. In addition to that, what we do is we become these attractive men. And these attractive men that we're describing, they're surrounded by beautiful women and other beautiful women. Like you said before, pre-selection, the actual term in psychology is called mate choice copying in humans. It was originally studied in the 1970s, and in the 1990s, they started studying it in humans. And when they found out is that women choose who other women choose. And so doing that is a way better way of being able to attract women on a regular basis. And it works for the average guy. I'll show you another 100 average guys that this works for.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't need to see results. The conversation is about, is that needed? Because when I go out there and I approach these women, and I get dates for these women, they don't see me with other women at all.
Realistically,
they don't see my money. They know I've not got a six-pack.
My money either.
They don't see me with other women. But there's something about the way that I'm coming across that makes them want to see me again.
Those are fair points about the women. The rest of them are not fair points. I know, don't show any money. I have a car with 122,000 miles on it. That's the main thing I was trying to say to you. So I understand what you're saying, but what's happening here is you're saying, is it necessary? Is it necessary to drive a car from Manchester to Liverpool? Well, it's not necessary. I could ride a bicycle, but it's way less efficient to ride a bicycle than to drive a car. What you're doing is getting better at riding a bicycle. And what I'm doing is creating a bullet train between Manchester and Liverpool. That's the difference of what we're talking about. What I'm doing is efficient. When it comes to levels of efficiency, there's no one, again, bro, we can pull up my ratings on Trustpilot. I have one guy gave me a 4 out of 5 because he was fucking too many women and he couldn't get any sleep. But other than that, I have almost a perfect score. I have almost perfect score on Trustpilot. You have to take my course in order to leave those reviews. Why are they all giving me 5-star reviews? It's because what I'm doing actually brings dozens and dozens and dozens of beautiful women into their life effortlessly. They don't have to go out all the time and do cold approach. They don't. They have a group of girls that they're friends with. They're like, hey, we're going to have board game night at my place. Each one of you bring a friend. And next thing you know, there's 6 girls in your place and 2 guys. That's how Social Circle works.
That's a hell of a lot of heavy lifting and organization to get to a place where most guys who just want to meet the girlfriend, or most guys who want to get more dates.
Do you think more women or few? I don't know how old you are, but do you think more women or fewer women are going out since COVID?
I think lots of women are still going out. I also saw that reel where you said hot women don't go out, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is
attractive
crazy.
women do not go. Again, brother, like the problem is I keep showing you exclusive events where I'm at in VIPs with these beautiful women, and you're like, they go out. Yeah, they go out with me. They go out on stage to see Marshmello. Of course they go out. The thing is, when I'm saying, do they ever go out? Yeah, I mean, sometimes. But the problem is they don't have to go to the coffee shop anymore. They order it on Uber or the Uber Eats. They don't have to go to the shopping mart anymore. They certainly don't go to malls. Malls all over the United States are closing down. The in real life interactions in general in the world since COVID and the Zoomification of business, and because of social media, it's dying. It's almost completely dead. That's where we are right now.
The apocalypse hasn't happened yet. Go on Miami
It's
Beach.
not the apocalypse. Bro, hold on. Ain't nobody talking about no fucking. Hold on, brother. There's no apocalypse. Nobody said anything about apocalypse. We are living our best life, bro. Nobody here's talking about an apocalypse. I found the solution to the fact that fewer women are going out. The solution is for you to have a social media that generates attraction while you sleep, for you to have a social circle where women calibrate you, get you into better events, and those women introduce you to more women, and for you to get invited to events and host events where there's 2, 3, 4 girls for every guy. That's what I teach guys. There's no apocalypse. I found the solution.
Fantastic.
This is the solution.
That's awesome. Here's my solution. You don't need to do that. You can get to a place where you're so integrated, confident, socially skilled. You can take a walk in the park. You can go down the mall. You can go to a nightclub, and within 5 approaches, you've got a new girlfriend.
I don't understand. I don't understand how that's different from what I teach. I don't teach that you don't go and talk to strange people. You definitely do. I just don't show intent.
The internal journey is what's more important. Your success is coming from the fact that you know how to get yourself invited to parties. Okay.
No, my
internal faculties that's creating the success.
Ironically, my internal success comes from stoicism and understanding that my happiness only comes from within. My internal success comes from studying Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. That's where my internal success comes from. It actually comes from the fact that I don't judge people. When I walk up to beautiful women, I don't sit there and say, you are a separate form from me. You are a different type of human than me. I see them as another person. That's it. I don't have to show sexual intent because that's acting through my ego. Instead, what I do is I sit there and I treat them all the same. And what happens is that first group of girls, they're just like, cool, they're buddies with me. I take them. I make sure they're protected. I'm a big, strong dude. They're not going to get fucked with whenever they go out with me. They bring a second group of girls, and those second group of girls are like looking at the first group of girls like, yo, why are all these girls with Michael? And then a third group of girls comes out, and I start hooking up with one of those girls. And then one of the girls in the first group starts having a crush on me because she's literally watching other women compete for my attention. Nothing is more scalable, more effective, and more efficient when it comes to game than having beautiful women with you when you go meet other beautiful women.
What do you think the average guy who gets into pickup and dating advice, what do you think their goal is? You must have done your market research.
To get a girlfriend, I think to be able to attract the type of women they want and to get a girlfriend. And I'm glad, I was wondering when you'd bring that up, because that's exactly what my next point is that's exactly what using social circle actually helps you with, probably more than anything. And a lot of people have this misconception that this only works for like hypersexual women, and that's not the case. So these are my clients in the relationships that they've gotten into because, again, it looks not important when you have social circle, and when you have social proof and pre-selection. These are my actual clients. My actual clients are getting into relationships or staying in relationships. We have one guy in here, it saved his marriage because of what we were teaching him. This guy's an F-18 fighter pilot in the Marine Corps, and that's his new wife. He lived next door to me, and this is my neighbor who's part of the program. In order for them to do that, whenever they did that, they were able to find relationships because the data is clear on this. Mate choice copying actually works more on women who are more restrictive and women who are younger. So I'm not interested in any woman who's going to accept my advances when I go up and walk up to her in a coffee shop. I want sexually restrictive, and I want younger women to be attracted to me. And that's why my girlfriend now is 20 years younger than me. My ex-girlfriend's 24 years younger than me. I'm almost 50. Why am I able to attract women like that? Is because mate choice copying works for women who are younger and more sexually restricted. And I can pull up that data if you want to see it. And that's the reason why this works.
So the question I got to you then is, I have zero social circle. Okay.
Yeah.
I meet women every single time I go out.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also Bali. Like, I don't think.
No. I've been to Miami. I've been to New York. I've been to Berlin. I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to the UK. I'm from the UK. Everywhere I go,
you should be able to have like videos. I mean, dude, you're a dating coach. You should have videos and pictures of you in New York picking up girls who are 10s.
Okay. So my question was, if
you did this to Ablaze, you told Ablaze he needs to have infield. You did this to Ablaze, and he told you that that's kind of immoral. So what I do is I tell the girls, "There's the camera, there's the light, here's my microphone," and they still are all over me because why?
You're ignoring my question, though, man. You're ignoring my question. My question is, if you need a strong social circle and high SMV to get access to beautiful women, how am I able in every city that I go to do 5 to 10 approaches and meet a woman every single time?
I gotta be honest with you. It's like getting a moon landing denier. I'd need to see proof, and you really haven't shown any. So like I've seen your videos, and like if you show, I don't think you want to show those videos in comparison to my videos because the audience is watching. So like I really don't think that's a good idea. But I'm not saying you don't meet women.
Is this a dick swing contest, or is this a conversation about what people want to learn?
Sorry, just so you know, bro. This is no offense. Eric Carlberg's a friend of mine. You went after him for not showing infield. Now the chickens have come to roost. Okay, it's not a dick swinging contest. I certainly would not have done this if you had admitted the truth, which is I'm around more hot women than you. I would not have shown any one of those pictures. But we're doing a debate, and you said that you challenged me. So listen, I don't talk about it. I be about it. That's why I served 7 years in the U.S. military. I don't talk about it. I be about it. So if you're going to challenge me, that's the result. You want to fuck with the bull, you get the horns. Now I don't want to show. I don't want to show.
I'm ready to talk about this. Not a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay, so I've already answered that question. You are around a higher volume of hot women than I am because of these events that you go to, because of these parties. That's a fact. That is a fact. Okay. But what I'm saying is when I look at your videos and I remember the girls that I've dated, I remember the girls that I've been in relationships with, I remember the girls that I've approached that have turned up on a date, there's not much difference. And these women are out there. Okay, a lower volume of these women are out there, but the average guy doesn't want to go to party after party after party. He wants to learn how to express himself. He wants to get some power and choice in the ability to be able to go out there and meet women because he's stifled, he's insecure.
You don't think the average guy would like to go to parties full of beautiful women? I'm not saying he doesn't want to learn himself. You don't think so? The average guy doesn't want to go to parties with beautiful women. Okay, got it. I'm just making sure. Hey, Ice, when you come down here, do we go to parties with beautiful women?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Was that rough for you, Ice? Was that difficult?
Mandalay Bay and shit like that.
Yeah. No, I got you.
There's a lot of guys that don't want that. There's a lot of guys that don't want these fake girls in their face. You know, these Barbie dolls. They just want to meet. They want the power, and they want.
I just showed you the guys who are getting married. They're not with fake girls or Barbie dolls. I just showed you the guys who are in relationships. That's not the case. What I do though, as far as the marketing for my company, do I show the most and ostentatious version of all this? Of course I do, because it's marketing, because I need to get your attention. I need a stick of dynamite to wake you up. I sell you what you want and teach you what you need. Most of my clients, they don't show any pictures with women on their accounts. Most of my clients are lawyers, doctors, and pilots. And when they come on there, they can't show a bunch of pictures. They can't do that. So what they do instead is they show subtle pre-selection in stories, and they put it on their highlight. And often what they'll do is they'll post it on their close friends list. And as far as the events, I do think most guys, given the option, would you like to go to a charity event where you're raising money for animal rescue? A lot of guys, and there's going to be 7 women for every guy. A lot of guys would say yes to that. I don't think they'd have a big problem with it. I don't think it's that big of an issue. And lastly, I teach you how to get invited to events, not to throw them. I haven't thrown an event in years. I just get invited to them, and all of my clients do too. It's not very difficult. It takes maybe 2 to 3 hours a week.
My problem is that you're saying only a small percentage of guys can meet beautiful women from cold approach. That is nonsense. That's just nonsense.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say, just because they're just less available. Yeah. And you said they're still, because you know what that word means. They're still doing that. Why are they still doing it? It's because you know that women are slowly taking themselves out of the IRL market, especially when it comes to nightclubs. Most of the nightclubs I go to in Miami, New York, dude, when I was in London, it was a fucking disaster. There was just so many men in comparison to women. Now, what you're saying is, hey, Michael, I have the skill set to pick that needle out of a haystack. And my whole thing is, I don't want to pick a needle out of a haystack. I want to go to a pile of fucking needles. That's what I want to do.
Beautiful women are everywhere.
Huh?
Beautiful women are everywhere.
I mean, they
been to
are
Miami.
everywhere. They're just not. Okay, I think you're missing my point, because you think what I'm saying is that if beautiful women were in front of you, that you wouldn't be able to talk to them. I'm sure you would. That's not my point. My point is there's a physical barrier, right? So table 15 or table 1 at Omnia nightclub in Las Vegas, you physically can't get there. Now, here's the funny part. Here's the funny part, Dean, and I promise you this is true. If you came to Vegas and you knew me and I was part of your social circle, you would effortlessly get up there. You would effortlessly get up there. You'd be like, hey, Ice, am I lying? Ice, am I lying, Ice? No. Every single venue, you would go on stage effortlessly. Why? Because you're friends with me, because of my social circle. Rollo Tomasi, who's one of my, he's a good buddy of mine. He doesn't ever have to worry about when he goes into a club. I make one phone call, he can get into any club in the country. And so can my clients. It's because social circle, you don't have to worry about that. So the thing is, while you may be on the dance floor talking to girls when there's 3 guys for every girl, if you're with me, you effortlessly can just go on stage. Why would you not want that instead? I'll do the work. I have friends of mine that are promoters that do all kinds of stuff, and they don't have to do all the work. I teach you how to do this. By the way, the way I teach you how to do it, just in case you didn't know, number one, I teach you to build you have to fix your Instagram. That does not take very long, but it's a lot of work in the beginning, and then later on, it's not as much work. Then I teach you how to build a list of beautiful women in your area. Then I teach you how to use a virtual assistant, and the virtual assistant can actually message those girls for you to create a high top of funnel, middle of funnel, or lower bottom of funnel event, and that's how you invite girls to do so. The whole thing takes, for my birthday party, I think it took me 4 minutes to set it up. And that may be a lot of time for you, but I think that's probably less time than it would take for you to go to a coffee shop.
I was
You
in the
think
middle
that's
of
needed
drinking
to find a
something here,
girlfriend?
Michael.
Say it again?
Choked on it. Hang on. Just wanted to say in relation to what Michael was saying, when I was in Vegas and came back, my wife saw some photos from the events, and she was like, "Why are all these women with their titties out?" I was like, "Well, that's just what Michael Sartain does."
Yes, that is what I like. I'm not gonna lie, but that's not who my clients date, but that definitely is my type.
That's good. I'm not denying there's a value there. I'm not denying this social circle that you teach. For certain guys who are looking to have massive abundance for beautiful women, that is one route. My problem that I've got is that you said gone are the days that you could see a woman in a public gathering and approach her and tell her she's beautiful and end up on a date with her. That is just nonsense. That's not true.
Yeah, so there's really, I mean, again, you're going to probably tell me I'm wrong here, but like I've hosted 68 beauty pageants at this point, and I talk to the girls all the time, and I ask them, how many times have you ended up dating a guy? And by the way, some of these women admitted to having sex for money. Some of these women admitted to extortion. Some of these women admitted to doing drugs with guys. So it's not they were afraid to admit. I said, how many times has a guy come up to you? And by the way, if you guys are watching this, go to my YouTube channel, go to my Limiting Beliefs playlist, and watch all the interviews I do with women. And we ask them, did you ever meet a guy out at a nightclub where he comes up to you and starts talking to you and asks you for a number? And the answer was 0, not a single one. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen for you. Maybe it does happen. You're the needle in the haystack. The problem is what I'm doing for my guys works every time. There is no possibility of rejection because they're always with beautiful women, and it works all the time. Like the problem is the 4.99 rating on Trustpilot. It keeps working. I'm saying what you're doing, I'm sure it works to some extent, but it works less. So I was teaching cold approach pickup back in 2005 or 2008. And back then I would go to a nightclub and there were twice as many women as men at a nightclub. Any guy who's watching this over 40, put a 1 in the chat if you remember when there were more women at nightclubs than there are now. And then after COVID, it just decimated it. So why am I going to do the less efficient thing? Why am I not going to do the quicker, more efficient thing of having a social circle where women introduce? What do you mean? How
is it less efficient when you can go every single time you go out, you can meet a new woman?
Because if you come to one of my events,
because you've got confidence.
Because if you're in my social circle, you just come to one of my events and you meet 40 women. That's what it's.
But how much work needs to be done to get invited to those events? What I'm asking you is the skill and the power to be able to go out, and every single time you go out to a bar, to a club, to a beach, you can meet a woman because you've got game, because you're charismatic, because you're expressive, because your communication skills are on point, and more importantly, the self-esteem to know that you've got the power to be able to do that. You're not relying on going to parties.
There's no. You keep missing my point. There's no. I know in England you have EPL, right? You have the EPL Premier League, and then you have like a Champions League and whatever. You have different leagues. I'm going to use that example instead of what we use in the NBA. And so my whole point is, I want to be in the EPL game making 50 million pounds a year. I would rather be in that game, in that environment. Even if I'm not as good as them, I can get better. What you're talking about is, yes, I can still do this, but you're doing this from the Champions League. Like that's what you're doing it from several leagues lower. And that's my point. It's like, I'm going to be around more women much quicker and much more efficiently than you are doing cold approach pickup. And the other thing is, man, like, I don't want this to turn into a he said, she said thing, but like, you really, for as much as you are saying you are picking up beautiful women after 5 approaches and you can make them your girlfriend, you really aren't showing that very much. That's the only thing I would say. And
I'm happy to show that, but again, I want to go back to the motivation for the guy that get into game, that gets into pickup. He doesn't necessarily want to be invited to parties. He doesn't necessarily want to be going out every single weekend. He wants to build his confidence, and he wants to have the power and the ability to go and meet women. What's more efficient? What's more effective?
Yeah,
what's
which is what I
better for
teach.
your well-being?
No, you missed my point. That is what I teach. I just teach in addition to the fact that when you do go out, there's 8 women for every guy.
I know, but when you're saying things like, gone are the days that you can approach a woman in a public gathering and get a date or have a response, that's very demoralizing.
No, have a respond. Have a respond is no issue. No, have a respond is no issue. That's not an issue. Even getting her to go out with you is not an issue. It's showing direct sexual intent. That's the issue.
And why would that be a problem?
All right. Well, thank you for leading to my next point. We're going to go ahead and share this. This is data from, let me see what university this is from. Here we go. So this is one right here where it's a landmark study from UVA and Harvard, over 47 female college students. Basically, long story short, because we can go over the whole thing, but numerous popular books advise people do not display their affections to openly to a potential romantic partner and to instead appear choosy and selective. Keeping people in the dark about how much we like them will increase how much they think about us and will pique interest. So this is from the Journal of Psychological Science. And the research essentially validates the mystery frame, not cold, negative, but genuinely ambiguous, the sweet spot for interest without full disclosure. I also have some other studies that show that as men show more sexual intent, that women rate them to be lower status. And so that's the other reason why I don't do that, along with the fact that I have 4,400 clients. So that's why I found that
just doesn't play out in a real world environment though, because
I mean, look at these guys in Miami.
Look at these Riz guys in Miami. They're going up to beautiful women like, "Hey, you're gorgeous. Hey, you're beautiful."
Right, because you think it's hold on, just so we're clear, let's get this on camera. You think the reason that Clavicular is getting those girls to come up to him is because of his game?
I wasn't talking about Clavicular. I'm just talking about whatever about showing intent when you first approach.
Yeah. Of course, if you've won an Academy Award, all right, if you're an EPL champion, if you're an NBA champion, if you're a streamer with 40 million viewers, of course you can show intent. If you're a man who looks incredibly good looking, absolutely you can show intent. That's about 4.5% of men, just outside of 2 standard deviations. For those men, 100%. Go ahead and show intent.
This is insane what you're saying, because several of my clients have ended up with girlfriends and their opener was, "Hey, you're really pretty. I wanted to meet you."
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see their clients and their girlfriends. I'd like to see your clients and their girlfriends.
They're perfect women. What does it matter? What does it matter what you rate them? It's what
no,
they
one more time. The reason why it matters what I rate them is because you literally made the mistake of making the point against Eric Carlberg that you don't trust what he's doing because he had no infield. So yes, my clients are dating hotter girls than your clients are, period.
The conversation is not about the hotness of the girl. It's you saying that you cannot show sexual interest on the approach and have that girl respond well.
So it's extremely inefficient. It's extremely inefficient.
It is efficient though.
It is
because women love the confidence.
Man, that we can. You just come to Vegas and try it. Like it's fine. We'll film it. Like you're not gonna do anywhere near as well as my clients.
Works in every city I've been to. No problem.
You're gonna go up. Hey, you're gonna go up and show sexual intent to the hottest girls in there, and you're gonna end up getting a girlfriend. Got it.
It's not necessarily sexual intent. It's an energy that you convey that makes that woman feel attraction. If you're in the zone and you're having a great time and you're sociable and you tell a woman that she looked like your expression, that's what's coming across.
But you can do that. You can have that positive vibe and not show sexual intent. You can also do that. For me, for me, my whole thing is, my vibe all the time is, hey man, I have so many women in my life. It's great to meet you. Here's my friend so-and-so. I got to run. That's always my vibe. If you want to hang out some other time, this is an event we're doing next week. My vibe is, there's too many women in my life, but it's great to meet you. Fist bump, whatever. Come on my show later. That's it. That's always my vibe. There's no sexual intent. They need to chase. I'm not going to show intent to a woman who does not show me compliance. I mean, that's it. That's why it works so well. And so that's the issue. Like, what I'm saying is, I have no doubt that there are guys who can go up and show sexual intent. My whole thing is, I think that works a little bit more on women who are much less sexually restrictive. Meaning, you found a girl with a 200 body count, you were born on third base and thought you hit a triple. Like, congratulations. You got girls who are highly sexually unrestrictive to be open to you going up to them and showing sexual intent. Those are the women who would do that. Mate choice copying, however, works for women who are much more sexually restrictive and younger.
Okay, so you're hiding your sexual intent for women when you speak to them, even though you feel sexual arousal. So you're not.
I'm a bad example. I don't. You have to be like a fucking perfect. You have to be Megan Fox with fake tits for me for me to be attracted to you. So, but yeah, I mean, to a certain point, it's not that I'm high. It's not that I'm having a hard time. My standards are high. You're right. That is my problem. My standards.
So you're
are
emotionally numb, maybe. I mean,
emotionally,
yeah, okay.
I'm an emotional. I'm emotionally no. That's funny. No, I share my emotions with people who earn it. I don't need to share my emotions with people I just met. That high level of vulnerability that therapy speak. No, you get my vulnerability when you get to know me. That's how it works. Initially, I'm entertaining. I'm very attractive. I come off as masculine and loud and articulate, extremely charismatic and funny. But you don't get to know the real me until you show me some level of compliance. I do not give my intent to a woman who does not show me compliance, because if I do so, by definition, my intent is worthless.
That's not true. It's the authentic expression in itself that creates the interest from that woman. So what is it when you first see that woman that makes you want to know that you want to talk to her?
Real quick.
There must be some sort of inspiration.
Okay, so just so we're clear, because I want to get you on here saying this. You're saying that your sexual interest is what makes the woman attracted.
Your uninterrupted, authentic expression, whether that be an interest in who she is or whether that be your sexual attraction for her, absolutely. And the reason I know that is because I've been out before and I've been in clubs and I've literally grabbed girls without saying a word and kissed her and ended up sitting down with her. That's my sexual intent expressed.
Beautiful. I just wanted to make sure we got that. Okay, research. Overt sexual interest makes men less attractive to women. Here's what the science actually shows. Overly eager men are not attractive.
Women are sleeping with men they're not attracted to them.
No, it's not that. It's that I think what you're telling me about going up to women that you're talking to and grabbing them and ended up sitting down with them, I don't know if you're dating them or not. But if you're saying that's happening, you're either dealing with extremely promiscuous women or women who are not that attractive. Overly eager men are not attractive. NTNU study shows this is the most direct finding on your topic. Research at Norwegian University of Science and Technology studied real-world opposite-sex encounters. Women in the study had little interest in casual sex initially until they found a man really attractive. A man who gives the impression of wanting to have sex with anyone anytime is definitely not what most women are looking for. Men who are overly eager do not come off as attractive. There's tons of overly eager. Yeah, that's correct. That's what you're doing. The research converges on one core principle. Overt sexual interest from a man is low value signal, not a high value one, period. That's it. Okay.
We've got a clarification to make there because overly eager is highly unattractive to women.
You showing intent to a woman who gave you...
No, it's double standard. The way if one man who's confident and is not desperate for women approaches a woman and say, hey, you're beautiful, I wanted to meet you. That's completely different to like, hey, excuse me, I really like you. Can we get together? Please can we go on a date? There's completely different cadence.
Okay, so these are I understand how you're making this mistake because these are two different things you're conflating. Because I heard some of your other stuff before. You're confusing like the mirrored neuron effect with like sexual intent, and they have nothing to do with each other. You're correct that you sounding more confident would make you more attractive to the opposite sex. Also might get you a better job and make cooler people want to hang out with you. You sounding confident definitely does that. But you're sounding confident about your sexual intent does not make her more sexually attracted to you unless she's already attracted to you. That's the problem. And you like, there's no data to support. Look, we can do another debate. You're not going to find a single shred of data to support what you're saying. These people have surveyed tens of thousands of women, and they all say the same thing. And then my clients are crushing it. It's just one of these things that what you're doing is an arcane belief system that worked really well in like 04, 05, and you're trying to resurrect it in 2026.
That's not true.
The thing about it is,
I can take a guy within a couple of days who hasn't had a date in 3 years, is terrified to approach a woman, to suddenly be getting instant date and getting laid based on what I teach him, based on that authentic expression. Because the truth is, when you see a beautiful woman, you do find her attractive. So why would you hide that? And women appreciate that, and women find that attractive. The confidence in itself that you don't have to play games and hide behind a false pretense.
It's not a false pretense.
To women.
It's the abundance that you have in your life that you don't need to show intent to a woman who didn't show you compliance. That's actually what's attractive.
Abundance is showing intent to a woman because you don't feel a need to play games and be indirect. Abundance is, hey, you're beautiful. Let's go out.
Again, but your methodology will be less effective than mine in the long run with more women.
The distinction is desperation versus intent. Intent is highly, highly, highly attractive to women. Desperation is repelling.
Yeah, again, one more time. You showing intent off the rip to some women, most women, will come off as desperation regardless of how you think about it. You aren't sleeping with most of the women that you go up and show intent to. You might be sleeping with some. I don't know how, which ones. And I really, to be fair, brother, I have not seen much evidence. I'm debating a moon landing denier next week, and he keeps making up all this bullshit, and I can't verify any of it for some reason. I'd like to be able to verify some of the stuff that you're saying, but when I came to do this, I verified everything I'm saying. And that's the reason why I'm the number one guy in this whole space, is because as far as the size of my program, I'm the number one guy in the entire space, is because of the fact that I show results. I don't talk about it, I be about it. That's what I learned from being a U.S. military officer. There's no, this doesn't work. Then show the data. Show any data, any peer-reviewed data anywhere that sexual intent from men makes women more attractive. It does when those men are physically attractive to the woman. But if you aren't physically attractive and you want to be able to generate attraction with women who don't already find you attractive, you need to get her from a familiar environment where Chad and Tyrone dominate to an unfamiliar environment where you can show your charisma, where you can show your humor, your relevancy, your competency, your access to scarce networks, your access to scarce locations. You need to be able to show that your pre-selection and your social proof. And it's easier to do that when you're in a familiar environment which is called a social circle, where you actually have a massive advantage.
So how are average guys approaching women and saying something like, you're beautiful, or, hey, I saw you there, I wanted to meet you, and ended up on dates with these girls?
You keep coming back to this point, and we can go over this again, but I pretty much don't believe you. Like, I don't believe, and you're more than welcome to show it. I don't believe that you are getting average guys to go up to girls. And if you are, this has happened some of my clients before, they end up hooking up with a girl, but she's extremely promiscuous. I have no doubt that if you go to places like Bali, where women go in order to hook up with dudes, that you will find some women that are down to hook up with you when you go direct, because that's what they were looking for. I have no doubt that this works on extremely promiscuous women, for sure.
That's not true, man. You're talking about human communication. Like, let's take game and social circle out of the way. How have man and women met throughout history? It's the man proposition. Throughout
history, it was tribal, and it was basically people. There's only 8 people in your tribe that were around the same age. What about
50 years ago?
50 years ago? 50 years
ago,
they
would. In the 80s?
Yeah, but there was no social media, so there wasn't a global marketplace where women inflated their sexual market value, and more women went out. So back in the 1980s, what would happen is if I had a beautiful dress, or if a girl had a new hairstyle or whatever, she had to go to a venue for other people to see it. There was no way for her to show it without going out in field. And so now what's happened is these women are getting even more validation for the things they wear and how they look on social media than they could ever get from going out. So they're less incentivized to go out. As you said previously, fewer hot women are going out.
Okay. So what about the hundreds of thousands of men and women that are getting together every year and ended up in relationships? Do they have to have a massive social circle and be in some big party?
No, a lot of them are obese. A lot of them, in the United States, the divorce rate is 48 or 52% for first divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. A third of men in the United States are complaining that they're having no sex. And in the United States, 48% of couples are not having sex even one time within a month. No, what's actually happening in the world is because of the Zoomification. Like, dude, I'm trying to give you a software update. We're going in this one direction. I'm giving you the lifeboat to get off before everything goes to a point where when you go to a club, it's only VIP. And now you're just sitting there looking at a bunch of girls in a VIP while you're standing on the dance floor with a bunch of dudes. That's the direction we're heading, because in the VIP, that's where the celebrities are, the best Instagram shot, all that kind of stuff. That's where you're going to find more beautiful women. If you went and did direct game, and you were at, like, say, the Playboy Mansion, it might work a little better because there's so many women there and it's so fucking impossible to get into that place that if you went there, every girl thinks that you already have status. That's what I do. On top of Marquee Skydeck or VIP at Ultra or whatever, when I'm ever in those places, the women are so fucking nice to me. And the reason why they're so nice to me is because they're like, yo, this guy had to kill a dragon to get up here. It is impossible to get up here. And so when I'm in these environments where there's 3 women for every guy, it just makes it much, much easier.
You're talking about one small part of the world called Las Vegas.
No, I'm not. It's nothing to do with nothing. Ultra. Sorry, brother. Ultra.
Around Barcelona Beach.
Ultra's in Miami. Sorry, bro. Ultra's in Miami. Coachella's at Joshua Tree. Ultra's in Miami. I'm not talking about Las Vegas.
Yeah, but you're talking about one section, one type of way to meet women, which is clubs, parties, whatever it is.
No, I'm
That's
not.
not the rest of the world.
It's not. You keep doing this thing where you come up with these reductive ideas. These are not at nightclubs. Like, none of these are nightclubs. Like that one. Like, these aren't nightclubs. These are events at, like, Sky Bar, where all the girls dress up. The girls get in gowns. The men wear suits. These are not nightclubs, dude. Like, you keep having this, like, reductive belief of how we do things. We do throw beauty pageants, but we also throw photo shoots. We also throw container events, theme parties, girls' birthdays, all kinds of stuff like that. This is a photo shoot. Hey, what city is he in? Ice, I can't read. What city is this dude in? Can you help me out here, Ice?
London.
Like, bro, I'm trying to tell you, this works everywhere. But this is my favorite. This guy's in Singapore and Bali. This is Singapore and Bali that this guy's out here crushing it doing this. No, man, this works in every single location because women are looking for men who are down to lead. And when you are able to lead them, then you have all these women following you at the same time. That's what makes this so incredibly easy to do. Once you get first couple female friends, fix your social media, and like I said before, about 2 to 3 hours a week, then this whole thing works.
The ability to lead, a woman perceiving your ability to lead is shown in your behavior. It's shown in the way that you hold yourself, the way that you communicate.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I don't understand what the question is.
Well, you're saying that for a woman to feel that you've got the ability to lead, she has to see you with other women. That's not true. You can create the same biological response with
I don't know what that's saying. You can definitely create a response other ways. If a woman watched me speak in front of 50,000 people, that could also give her the emotion of me leading. But that's different. That's social proof. That's not pre-selection. Those are 2 different phenomena. You should look up the data. For a lot of times, people were confused. They thought that pre-selection was a subset of social circle. It's not. Pre-selection and social circle are 2 completely different phenomena. So yes, you can get a leadership vibe. I want a leadership vibe along with the fact that I'm also getting pre-selection.
I'm talking about when you first approach a woman, whether she knows you've got status and you've got social circle or not, she can hear certain things. She's listening to certain things about the way that you're expressing yourself, the cadence in your voice, how confident you are, how soft your body language is, how you're holding yourself. That is telling her whether you're pre-selected or not.
I don't know why you're saying this to me.
When you cold approach a woman,
I don't know why you're saying it to me. Like, you act like that's not what I teach. It's just really funny. I don't know what the only difference is. I don't show fucking intent. That's it. And I just showed you the data that shows you why I don't do it. As far as leading women, I'm like nobody. But again, brother, there's no one who even fucking comes close to me. There's no one.
Because if you're saying that you cannot show intent to a woman from cold approach.
No, I'm not saying you can't. I said it's
Work.
inefficient. No, what I'm saying it's inefficient. It's riding a bicycle from Manchester to Liverpool versus riding on a bullet train. That's what I'm saying. It's less efficient.
Inefficient for who? The way that you teach and run game, or is it representative across the board?
Well, again, I gave you the stats across the board, the number of sexless men going up to 33%. So in general, yes, that is what's happening. And most of it is happening in part because of horrible dating advice from liberals, from political liberals and blue pill content creators who are telling men to be more expressive and to just be themselves with women who've done nothing to earn it. Like Ice, like honestly, Ice and I have done, I don't know how many times we've done this. He's come and visited me. There's things I'm going to share with Ice because we've been friends for a while. He's not going to get that the first day I meet him. That's not, there's an openness that happens with guys that I served in the military with and I flew over Iraq and Afghanistan with. They get an openness from me that other guys don't get. You don't get my intent. My intent is only reserved. A woman getting to have sex with me is a privilege. I only reserve my intent for women who have shown me compliance. I don't just give it away to any woman because she has big boobies or she's physically attractive.
Depends on your frame. You know, it depends on if you actually see that woman as above you when you're approaching her. There's nothing wrong with showing intent to a woman when you approach her. Some women find that flattering.
It's just less efficient. It's just less efficient.
I wouldn't say so, because I can go out and do 5 approaches every day and get laid or get a date by showing intent.
We keep doing this over and over again. I would really like, I would expect, by the way, I'm not blaming you or trying to shame you or anything. I would tell you as your marketing director, you need to show that way fucking more than you have been on your marketing if you want this to work. There's a reason.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
fine. The only thing I would tell you.
But what I'm saying is it's happening. And there are guys that don't know anything about game, and they walk up to a girl in a coffee shop or in a club. Hey, you're beautiful. How's your day going? They end up banging that girl. They end up dating that girl. So to tell guys not to show intent, hide your intentions, make sure she qualifies herself to you, is to teach guys to be inauthentic. Because if the reason he's approaching that girl is because he's attracted to her, what would be wrong with showing that unless you've got a problem being vulnerable? Unless you're insecure.
No, because every piece of data shows that that's not what women are looking for. They're looking for men who show higher levels of status. Men who show higher levels of status don't show intent off the rip. I just showed you the data. That's the reason why.
What would you define as SMV? Because you're saying that the only guys that get a positive response.
Yeah, so that's really hard to as far as SMV. So here's the actual way I would define it. We'll make it the most androgynous, ambiguous way possible. If I were to take 10,000 or 10 million women, and I were to take 10 million men, and I would stratify them from the ones that got the most attraction in person or dating apps or whatever methodology you want to use. The ones that are most attractive would be in the top decile. So they'd be 10s. The next decile would be 9s. The next decile. There's tons of data on this, by the way. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to educate. You really should look this stuff up. What happens is women who are a 5 are not interested in men who are a 5 in general. There's obviously things that you can do as a man who's a 5 to get women who are attractive. There are things, but those things require several different skill sets. One of them is going up and talking to them and being confident. That is one of them. But there are several others that you can show: relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources, locations, networks, humor, charisma, pre-selection, and social proof. Those are ways in order for you to be able to generate attraction. Those are other plays. I'm not just kicking the ball to the center fielder and trying to go for a goal. I have other plays that I can run, because as a man, there's so many other things other than my physical attractiveness that women find attractive in me. And so I run these other plays. That's what Social Circle is. It's all the plays. It's your physical fitness. There is nothing I have ever done that works better than having beautiful women walk up to me with beautiful women. There's nothing, like, again, my whole question is this. I'll ask you 2 questions here. Number 1, if you were in this situation and these women were introducing you to more women, would you think you'd be able to get laid?
Sorry, say that again. Ask that question again.
If you were in this situation with these women and these women introduced you to more women at a party, they were on your side, they are trying to get you laid, do you think you'd have an easier time getting laid?
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. So my second question is, if you went direct with all these women, do you think they'd still be trying to get you laid?
Well, you shouldn't go direct with all of the women. You should choose the one that you want.
One of the issues is, so this is man, I really should have looked this piece of data up. I can probably find it. It is actually the thing. There's 2 different mechanisms. One of them is the bonus that you get when women see you with other attractive women. And the second one is yeah, so there's a bonus there, but the bonus, there's also this thing called a negative. I don't know what the word to look for. It's a discount. I don't know what the thing is. The negative bonus that you get whenever women see other women reject you. And the rejection, lack of bonus, actually is stronger than the positive pre-selection. But I just found that data yesterday, actually. And so that's what women report. So in my situation, I never have to worry about that, because I haven't walked up to a girl in fucking 10 years and had a girl reject me, say no, not give me. I haven't had a girl not give me her phone number or agree to hang out, not one time in 10 years. And by the way, I can show it. You guys are more than welcome to go on my IG and look at all those photos and see all the girls are liking the photos. All the girls are commenting on the photos. I'm not just some stranger. So that's the whole thing that works. And I use 0 money to do this. 0. I don't even have to pay for drinks, because I got 8 girls with me. The bar pays for the drinks. So what I'm saying is, just in general, this is just a more efficient way to do things. I don't have a problem with going up and showing intent, or not. I don't show intent. I have no problem with cold approach. I just don't want intent-based cold approach because it, for every single thing, every single piece of data I've read, along with the thousands of girls I've interviewed, that's just not how it works. When I talk to these most beautiful women, and I asked them about the guys that they ended up hooking up with, it's never that these guys went up and talked to them. The women have this belief, and by the way, it's not always true, that the woman is the one who chose them. And so that's the reason why, when I say the way they think, these tens think that other women chose them, or these tens think that they're the ones who chose the guy that they're dating. And that's just not true. But that's the feeling that they have. And every time I talk to them, I'm like, hey, what if a guy comes up and hits on you? And she goes, yeah, if he's famous or cute, then she'll give him a shot. Well, I want you to be able to go up and talk to women when the woman doesn't think you're attractive. Cold approach, in direct game, cold approach is for women who already like you. Men of action is for women who don't like you yet.
I want to add on.
So you say that direct game cold approach is for women who already like you. So what about the women that don't see you before you approach? And then you deliver that first line. You say, "Hey, I thought you. Hey, you're beautiful."
They've got about 30 seconds to determine if they're not going to sleep with you. So people get this one wrong. They think women decide whether or not they're going to have sex with you in 30 seconds. They don't. Women decide if they're not going to have sex with you in 30 seconds, maybe 3 minutes, somewhere in that area. Men decide if they want to have sex with a woman in under 1/10 of 1 second. There's actually data on this as well. So that's the difference between the two. So I think you can do something in the first 30 seconds to disqualify her from ever sleeping with you. The point is this. Here's my ultimate point. There are women that I would approach with your style, or that you would approach with your style, go direct intent, and the girl would not go out with me. And if I did the same thing to that same woman, going indirect, friend zoning her, and letting her consistently see me with beautiful women, I now have a chance with that woman who would have previously rejected me. That's the difference. My program works for women who like you and for women who don't like you. Dating apps don't work for women who don't like you, and cold approach direct game does not work for women who don't like you. What I do works for both.
What do you think?
I just want to show
making that woman decide that she doesn't like you?
Can I just quickly get through this?
Go ahead,
and then we'll I just want to show one or two quick points here. We did some research on guys in the seduction community. Have they ever got laid through day game and various other pillars of game? Day game came out at the very bottom in terms of success rate. So out of everyone who ever tried day game, the success rate was only 69%. 15% never tried, 27% tried the day game but never had sex from it, and 58% did do day game and did have sex. So that came up with 69% of those who did actually ended up sleeping with at least one woman because of day game. Social circle game ended up having a higher success rate at 79%, 10% more.
Okay, so are you saying that day game, the success rate of getting laid or finding a girlfriend was lower?
I think it's
generally, this is just taking people in general in the seduction community, and the reality of what happens is there are less day gamers getting laid than social circle gamers. Okay.
So I can tell you the direct reason for that. And this is what I would keep trying to go back to. The reason that someone gets into the game, the reason that someone starts to study pickup is because they've got psychological deficits. They got problems with their confidence, with their self-image, with their communication skills. A lot of the guys that we're trying to help, and this is why I want to talk about this and give as much value as possible. A lot of the guys that we're trying to help are in a lower frequency. They're stifled. They're nervous. They don't believe in themselves. So they're trying to run this day game. They're trying to go up, do cold approach, but they're not in the right headspace. They don't believe in themselves. They're not confident. So what I teach is to help you fix that. And that's why they're getting such meager results in day game. They're approaching that girl with tremendous nervous energy in their body. They don't even believe in the first place that beautiful girl will respond to them. The fix is not to try and get invited to parties. The fix is to work on your self-image, to build your confidence, whereby when you're talking to a woman, you actually believe that it's possible. You actually feel like you've got value. The reason day game doesn't work for 90% of guys is because They've got problems. And the reality is that anyone who was brought up right, anyone who's a natural, anyone who's naturally confident is not struggling with women. So they probably don't look into game unless they want to live the lifestyle like Michael's showing. But most guys, the average guy that gets into game, the reason they even feel they need to research this stuff is they got some things that they need to work on internally. And they're going out there, they approach a beautiful woman. They're like a rabbit in the headlights. They don't know what to say. They don't believe. They don't know where to take the conversation. And they're getting terrible results. That's why day game. Who is it that's going out to do day game? Because it's not a guy that's naturally confident with women because he's probably got a girlfriend or he's probably got loads of girls that want to bang him. It's a guy that's working on himself and he's not there yet.
Quick question for both of you guys. Obviously, this is an extreme example, but this shows some people who are facing this situation, and it's zoomed in on day game, so it's biased towards what day game is like for some people's experiences. What, for both of you, what's your advice for guys who are in this kind of situation where they're doing even 10,000 cold approaches and still haven't got laid from?
Do you want to go first, Michael?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really, so the problem with the data like this is that it's kind of anecdotal. That's why I try to use peer review data. I do understand the answer is that these guys just aren't good with women. Like, okay, let's see. I think all three of us can agree with this. If you are brought up as a normal average guy, we'll just say in the United States, 5'9" guy makes, $61,000 a year, 68,000. I forgot what it is. If you're brought up and you listen to advice from John Gray, Justin Baldoni, fucking The View, Oprah Winfrey, some of these people like Dating by Blaine, like all these other coaches. If you listen to generic dating advice, you are going to end up fucked. It's terrible. The majority of generic dating advice is terrible. And the reason why is because they need to be apologetic towards the idea that men have to level up in order to get women. For women, they don't have to level up in order to get men. Women do not need a ton of experience with dating to attract men. Men do need experience with women in order to attract women. And so the problem is these guys that you're surveying are amongst the average guys. The average guys are getting fucking decimated right now. The average guys who are not getting any help. Now, here's the problem, especially in the UK. This is a really big issue. I don't know if you saw this. In the UK, they're actually proposing that men have to follow a curfew. Did you see this? This came out yesterday because of that
6 p.m. or something?
That stupid adolescence documentary that made up all this bullshit about incel violence, and and even William Costello, who wrote the article he wrote the paper from the University of Texas saying that they're seeing almost no incel violence because that's happening in places like the UK. They're actually teaching children in elementary school. It's like, hey, are you properly showing respect to women? And like, are you doing anything that's manosphere related? So like even expressing your opinion, dude, I don't know. Look, honestly, Damon, I'm afraid. I'm going to London in June, and I'm afraid your country's put 5,000 people in jail for misgendering or fucking saying something on social media. The amount of censorship. So that censorship, what does that lead downstream? Good dating advice is ratioed. It's demonetized. Good dating advice is deplatformed. That's the era that we're in, and because of that, I'm not surprised that these guys aren't having any success.
So if someone's done 10,000 or 5,000 approaches and they haven't got laid or they haven't got results, this is absolutely an individual problem. This is not the society. This is not the culture. This is not the country. Because I've done thousands and thousands of approaches. I've never been locked up. I've never had a harassment claim. I've never had any issues. If someone's doing thousands of approaches, they need to look at and figure out what it is about that individual that's going wrong. Not blame the society, not blame these entitled women, not say cold approach doesn't work. Men and women meet every day who have not been introduced to friends, who have not met through some sort of social network. So what is it about that individual? The way he's coming across? Is he coming across strange? Is he coming across nervous? Is he deeply insecure? Is he totally lacking confidence? Is his fashion absolutely ridiculous? What is it about the person? Because if you're getting rejected 100% of the times, you do 20 approaches, continuous rejections, something about your frequency, something about your vibe, something about your personality or your behaviors is totally off. That would be my response to that. It's not luck. Cold approach isn't luck. You fix yourself, You work on your charisma. You become a man of purpose. You get involved in the things that you love. You build your confidence. You face fear. You're going to start to develop as an individual, and that charisma comes out when you're talking to a woman. She can feel that. So something is off if you're getting rejected all of the time. I don't think it's the environment. No way.
Yeah. All righty. I want to throw in one other thing here that's interesting to look at, see what you guys think about it. So this is on Stanford University. Michael J. Rosenfeld. Excuse the poor formatting of this page, but this is the university professor responsible for this very famous study, how couples met. This is specifically in the USA. And it's been going on for, there have been several repetitions of this methodology to identify heterosexual couples, how exactly they met each other. And you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Obviously, since the 1980s, meeting through the internet has been increasing, and it massively started spiking around 2012. And this blue line here is meeting through friends. So we can effectively say that's kind of like social circle game. Black is meeting through family. I guess we could also kind of say that's social circle game to some extent. Meeting through coworkers is there. A lot of things have generally gone down, and met in bar or restaurant is the only one that has kind of stayed the same, but also kind of gone up at the same time. Keep in mind, not some of these are multiple. So for example, you can meet a woman through Tinder, through the internet, and meet her at a bar. So this all doesn't add up to 100%. It's above that because there are combinations in there. What are your thoughts on how this has changed over time?
I mean, it's pretty evident. All right, the whole purpose of this graph is to show that more people have met virtually, and that's what you should expect. We've been decimated as a population. I think COVID kind of put the nail in the coffin with a lot of this stuff. And I have so many incredibly gorgeous female friends. I'll tell you something. This is going to sound nuts when I say this. So a ton of my female friends, they share their location with me, because if they get in trouble, they want me to know where they are, because I'll come with the fucking Cybertruck in a piece, and I'm going to save them if they get into some trouble. And because of that situation, I get to see where they are every night. So if you look on my phone, I'm not going to show you guys, but you can see just like this circle around Las Vegas of like all these beautiful women and where they are. And you know where they are every night? At home. They just don't go out anymore unless it's something huge like fucking Coachella, or it's Spring Jam, or it's something like that. You have to create an environment for women to come out to. So here's what I did. I looked at this data because I've seen this one before, the Met Online data. And what I've seen is the great book about this. It's called The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. And it goes over how younger women are addicted to their phones, which is causing depression, ADHD, and it's also causing neurosis. What's happened is I'm using this for my favor. If they're going to be addicted to their phone, they're going to be addicted to their phone in service of me. And so what I do is I use social media to create those events or invite groups of girls to those exclusive events. And in doing so, I get put into a situation where there's way more women than men. So the chart looks accurate to me. It's definitely what I've seen. But the thing is, instead of complaining about it, which I know a lot of guys are, they're like, why don't every girl put their phone down? They're never going to do that. Instead, I just use social media in my favor. I use women's addiction to attention. They use attention like heroin. I use it in my favor.
Mm-hmm. My stance on that is men are not approaching women as much. You know, we've become demoralized, especially in the West. You've seen all these political movements, COVID, absolutely. People stopped going out as much. You've seen all these political movements that just tell men that they should be ashamed of expressing their intention to a woman. And, you know, you see online, and I speak to guys, and I ask them questions when they come into my Instagram, just general public. The dating apps are not working. What about trying to talk to women in person? Is that a thing anymore? It's really sad. You know, like we're not socializing as much. This social media has just plugged us into our phones. We're one step closer to the matrix. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do. because men are just trapped in that paradigm of I shouldn't approach a woman, I shouldn't express my feelings, I shouldn't go for what I want. We're becoming more and more disconnected and more suppressed. So what I try and do is I try and get guys out there and learning that we're still social creatures. You know, evolution takes hundreds of thousands of years to evolve. It's not like just because there's been a change in social media, we don't want to meet each other. And that's why women are so flattered. When a guy goes over and say, hey, I wanted to meet you, or you got a really nice dress, or you're beautiful, it's like there's a big smile on that woman's face, because everyone's buying into this matrix. Everyone's buying into this subscription, and it's a shameful thing to go out and connect with other people. So my answer to that statistic is yes, absolutely. The things that you guys just said, but also men are being so demoralized that they're just not putting themselves out there, and people are not meeting from real life situations anymore. And my goal is to bring that back. That's what I want to help guys with.
That's a good point. I want to add on to that. Perfect metaphor I have for this is, I always see guys complaining about social media and online dating. I'm not getting results from Tinder, blah, blah, blah. In the job market, there are lots of people who end up making hundreds of job applications on the internet. But I think there's a certain point when you have to ask yourself, is it worth going into some of these offices and just saying, hey, can I meet the person? Can I meet the manager? See if you have some roles available. There is a possibility to break through all of that internet bullshit, whether it's the job market or dating, and just turn up at the office, say, do you have any jobs available? Your foot is in the door. You went there, whereas most people would have gone and sent them an email or an application if it's a job, or a DM on Instagram if it's a woman, that kind of thing. So I think there's a balance. Speaking of which, I got this question here, which is super relevant to this. Is social circle dependent on having social media presence? I would say it's a separate thing. There's simply virtual presence and physical presence, just like as I said. Your virtual presence is applying for jobs online, having a Tinder profile outside of job market. In the dating market, having a Tinder profile, social media. If you're not virtually present, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. But if you don't leave the house, that's not being physically present. So it's good to be both physically present and virtually present. Do both.
Yeah. So for this one, most of the time, I would say now it's being more and more where these two things are becoming concentric circles. But you're right. So like, let's just say you're a male nurse and you work on a floor with like 40 other female nurses and you're the only male nurse. That guy can absolutely have an unbelievable social circle without having social media. So it definitely is possible. Also, if you have some high level of competency, let's just say you're a plastic surgeon and you have beautiful women coming to you all the time. That is a guy who can have a social circle without social media. The thing is, you can, but why would you? Just go ahead and have social media as well. And when you do the social media, this is a big misconception. Guys will take the photos that they use on their social media, or they use on their dating apps, these close-up photos on their dating apps, and they'll use the same photos on their social media. Unless you're looking for homosexual men like on Grindr, close-up pictures of your face over and over again are not what women are looking for on your fucking Instagram. Stop doing that. It's really, really bad. So that's one of the issues that I have. My profile, you're going to see a close-up picture of me, maybe 1 out of 10 photos, and the rest are going to be things I can do and people I'm with. It's going to be social proof.
Yeah, fucking Looksmaxxers.
Yeah, I agree with that. Static close-up photos, looking like you're trying to impress in the picture, not showing any lifestyle, not showing like you do fun things. You're not going to get much success from that, for sure.
Got a few other things here. Pulling in some drama, I guess. Alex playing with fire says he gets hotter girls walking his husky in Miami than Sartain gets.
That's right. That's right. That's right, Alex. You do. That's right, Alex. I can't. I got to bow down to Alex. Of course he does. The husky game. He's cheating. Husky is like having cocaine.
It's just a man dressed. It's just a fucking furry. It's not a real dog. It's a man under there. This is why Sartain is invited.
Can I address this real quick? All right, let me address this. All right. I want to apologize to you and Alex. I know I was coming on there all the time and I stopped. We had some reorganization in our company that we had to do. And my company was asking me to spend more time making content and less time doing debates. Now they've done a 180. So now not only am I doing this, I'm literally, I'm debating Maverick Approach, who's a moon landing denier. I mean, he also thinks that fucking Donald Trump is a time traveler. So it's not going to be much of a debate, but I'm taking on all comers now. If you think Kobe Bryant was a top 10 player of all time, he wasn't. I'll debate you on that. I'm doing one. Anybody hey, you guys, Dean, you guys have voter ID in the UK, correct?
We have what, sorry?
Voter ID. You have to show your ID to vote in the UK. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's almost absurd when I say this to people in other countries. I don't know if you know this, Dean. You don't have to show your ID to vote in the United States. And it's
That's
fucking
crazy.
mad. So I'm looking to debate people on voter ID, and then different stuff like that, and also overall blue pill viewpoints of like assortative mating and hypergamy. If you guys want people to debate, but obviously my favorite of all time, any of you fucking flat earthers who keep coming after me, I'm here to, you can come get these hands. Listen, the chicken comes with the dinner, buddy. You are going to get your ass stomped, especially after what just happened last week.
God damn. All right. Moving on. I'll look out for any of these debates, though. That's fascinating. Someone's asking here, how much is Michael's course and how much is Dean's? Just feel free to talk about your programs.
So access to my Skool group is $5 a month, and then the course that we have, if you guys want to look this up, $27 Men of Action. It'll send you to that link. If you go to the main link, it's not going to send you that. It's going to send you to a different program. But just go to $27.
Okay. It really depends. If you want in-person coaching, I do 3 days, I do 5 days. The price depends, but it also depends what the work needs to be. If I need to bring in extra coaches, the best way to find that out is to have a call with me. If you go on Dean Raymond Dating Instagram, send me a follow, send me a message. We could talk about that.
Michael, don't you throw bikini competition events where contestants are paid thousands of dollars? Explain yourself.
I don't pay them. So here's the thing. And so I've heard of this criticism before. So I host the back when it was still around, the Wet Republic is now called Palm Tree. I would host the Hot 100 at Wet Republic. It is still to this day the biggest bikini competition in the world. They paid me money to host it, and I also got paid to recruit it. I'd say 2/3 of my pay was recruiting. I recruited about 95 to 100% of the girls to come to those things. And yes, because they went there and the nightclub wanted promotional marketing, they put up the prize. MGM actually put up the prize money. They're a publicly traded company. And so, which actually was the reason why they don't do it anymore, is because of the scrutiny from their investors. And so, yes, I would do that. I would basically but I didn't pay any money for it, and everything I got.
Are the investors fucking gay or something?
No, it's just they were worried about liability. I think I don't really know what's going on. We may bring back bikini competitions. I still host my own. By the way, any of you guys want to, you don't have to be part of Men of Action. If you come to Babes in Toyland August 6th in Las Vegas, I am hosting Swimsuit USA's Miss Las Vegas preliminary. Hopefully Miss Nalu Bay and Miss Babes in Toyland. We're going to be sending 3 girls to the Dominican Republic, where I am going to host the 2026 Miss Swimsuit USA World Championship.
Any other things you want to discuss in relation to cold approach and social circle game?
Yeah, I was hoping people would ask more questions so we can both give value, like questions about game and attraction. I was hoping they would be coming in.
Drop them in.
Keep typing, guys.
Yeah, here's another one. Can Sartain address congruence, like immersion when fixed a guy who's on the spectrum? He could be around 9s and 10s, but he would look out of place. I like social circle, though.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I will say that I, because of the pervasiveness of social media and especially things like meta ads, I do reach more people who have autism. And I know a lot of dating coaches don't want to admit this, but it is true. Like a lot of the guys who get into the space, it is because of the fact that they don't have social awareness. I think one of the reasons why they don't have social awareness, a lot of it is not genetic. It is actually the addiction to their phone and the high levels of stimulus that they went through through puberty. And so, we work on like a lot of different things to help them, and we try to figure out different ways. Now, some of it is genetic, by the way. Some of it is just people have a developmental issue because of a genetic disorder. And then sometimes it is people get stunted. Maybe they went through abuse when they were younger, and there were different parts of their developmental cycle that they did not fully perceive. And because of that, they were stunted growing up and weren't able to develop social cues. One of the things that women have a massive advantage over men is that as soon as they go through puberty, men approach them. Actually, everyone approaches them when they're attractive. When with men, nobody approaches us. Like my girlfriend, who was 24 years younger than me, has been approached more by the time she was 20 than I'll ever be approached in my entire life. And so that's the reason why they are more socially acute at that. And here's the reason why I bring this up. A woman who's a 10, who's autistic, how does that hurt her in the dating marketplace? Not very much. A man who's decently good looking, who's autistic, it hurts him a ton. So that's one of the issues that we kind of have to deal with. And I found ways to get around that. It's usually really, really fucking dark humor. That's usually what works for me. But there are definitely ways to get around that.
Alrighty. What was I going to say here? Yeah, I was generally thinking, where social circle game is concerned, if we just forget about all the PUA lingo and stuff like that, day game, night game, blah 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 blah. Social circle game, I see it as effectively what society used to have years ago. Just like the statistics I was showing from Stanford University, how everything was pretty much decreasing, and well, we got the internet now, and hey, this has replaced our social circle. We got a phone in front of our face instead of friends. So, like, what are the roots, and how has it changed over time?
This is where my evolutionary psychology brain comes in. So let's go back to the end of the Neanderthals, which would have been about 27,000 years ago. At that point, Homo sapiens are the only hominids left on the planet. We were in small hunter-gatherer tribes, and the people that you grew up around were the people that you were around for the rest of your life. Now, there were some intra-tribe marriages that did happen for like genetic diversity, but for the most part, you were going to marry somebody that you grew up with. And so because of that, your social circle was very important. Your ability to lead other men got you status with the hunting party. It caused you to become an elder, a tribal chief. It gave you status in life. If you're a woman and you were very attractive, your status was kind of based on your, I know some people will find this misogynistic, but your status was based on your fertility. And so that's where we came from. And so, and because of that, social circle is something that is sort of ingrained in us. Dr. David Buss, at the end of his book, The Evolution of Desire, talks about the fact that throughout history, men who have had stronger social circles were always able to garner, he said social alignments. Men with stronger social alignments have always been able to garner more resources and more sexual abundance.
Where do you think family comes into, I want to say social circle specifically, but that and the game in general? Sounds vague, I know, but wherever you can think with that.
I think it's your choice. My job is just to give you options.
Yeah, generally I'm thinking in terms of like, if you want to have a powerful family that has a strong social circle, or let's put it this way, make it more practical. If you're a married man, social circle game is obviously still worth it. Not in order to necessarily get a partner, since you're already married, you already have one. So what would you say are the advantages of social circle game for people who are already in relationships, or people who already have kids and are married?
Yeah. So we've had several guys who come to us who are already married and maybe had some trouble with attraction in the relationship. It's important that your wife knows that other women want to sleep with you. It just really, really is important. If she sees you, I have this whole thing is like, if your wife trusts you, it means that she thinks you don't get any bitches or something like that. I can't remember what the quote was. I thought it was pretty funny, but that is the case. It's like, you can be a perfect gentleman. You can be kind of a weirdo. There's so many ways you can be with a woman if she knows other women are attracted to you. And so I think that's one thing with social circle is I'm giving men the ability to at least show that other women are attracted to them. If I don't have social circle, so it's just me, her, and the kids, we slowly get a little fatter. We have a little bit more of that horrible American diet. We start becoming one of the 71% of people in the United States that are overweight. And then after doing so, we become a little bit less attracted to each other. And then from her standpoint, she's like, Nobody wants this man. I don't even care. He can go hang out with other women. Nobody wants to fuck him. When my girlfriend sees me do Access Vegas, or when my girlfriend sees me host a bikini competition, they usually jump on me afterwards because they're aware, or at least they visually, or maybe the whole thing's an illusion. They're aware, or they believe that other women want to have sex with me, which is a massive aphrodisiac. And I think something really helps with marriage.
I also want to clarify here, a lot of people I've seen over the years, ever since I started doing collaborations with you about social circle game, a lot of people have had this association where they see, oh, Michael Sartain, his social circle game is bikinis, bikini models. I wouldn't say OnlyFans models, but women in bikinis, big titties, Las Vegas. Is that social circle game, or is that just Michael Sartain's version of social circle?
It's just marketing mostly. Like, guys, I've told you, my girl, my dream girl is Megan Fox with a volleyball player's body and huge fake tits. Like, that's what I like. That's just me. Don't do, if you like, I can show you guys before, like, my clients don't date girls like me. This is not about me. This is just about a situation where here, let me see if I can go back here. Relationships. Like, it's not about that. It really is just about, like, finding the type of girl you want. Because the other thing I do believe, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, is that the way attraction works is ubiquitous amongst all women. Meaning, if you have attraction triggers like pre-selection, it has some effect on every type of woman. Now, not as strong as effect on some women as others, but it does have an effect. So yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to be in Vegas. You don't have to throw bikini competitions. But Mike, I do have clients that come to me and they're just like, hey, Michael, I got out of a divorce. This woman cheated on me. I just want to be a slut for a couple years. I want to bang as many girls as possible. If those guys come to me, I do recommend lots of pre-selection, bikini competitions, photo shoots. I have a different regiment that I have for those guys. Shout out to Luke and Tristan, who are probably watching this right now. That's a different one. Then I have guys who come to me. They're religious. They're maybe Hindu, or they're or Catholic, Orthodox, or maybe Muslim, and they're looking for someone that's within their religion. I have a very different prescription for guys like that.
What would Dean's social circle look like?
Say again.
What's your social circle going to look like? Like, obviously, Michael's Michael, but what would the Dean Raymond version look like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I go out to party, I get invited to parties. It's not really my thing. I'd love to go to one of those. I'd love to be invited by Michael and check that scene out, but it's not something I would frequent week after week. You know, I'm a natural introvert, so I kind of prefer more close, intimate situations where you just chill out, have a couple of beers, play some games, not necessarily like at the peak of the party every single week, so to speak.
You have a fight in the street after?
Yeah, usually at 3 a.m. Yeah.
London.
Wait, there's still fights in the UK at 3 a.m.? We don't have any fights here, bro. There's nobody fights.
It's funny. I got a crazy story. I took when I was still living in London, my father-in-law came out to visit because my wife couldn't fly because of her illness. And me and my father-in-law went to Ireland. And I was like, I'm going to show him a bar fight. And didn't fucking find one. And then the moment we land in London again and like get on the train, we see people fighting on the train platform, drunk as shit. And those guys are English, not Irish. Like, okay, the Irish are not as drunk as the English are these days. So crazy shit. Anyway, oh wait. We got Ablaze here. This is Mystery's wingman Ablaze. Is he in the upper room or something? Michael Sartain just presented to our bootcamp students yesterday and crushed it. The man knows his shit. Listen up, guys. Is he in the next room?
So I have so there's a conference room here in my building. So I really try to do optimize for as little time as possible doing other shit. Like, my bed is 40 feet from my studio and my gym is 140 feet below me right now. There's a conference room in the same building. I will go 4 or 5 days and not leave this building, just get work done. So I don't rent it out. I give them to it for free. Owen, Mystery, several other people have come by and they do conferences when they're in Vegas. I just give it to them, the room, for free. Or the room at Sapphire, the strip club. You remember the gentleman's club? That we use the karaoke room there, and they let us use that in order to teach courses.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My last question, there might be...
Go ahead, Dean.
What... I feel like the things that Owen says is singing from the same hymn sheet as me. What does he say about cold approach being inefficient in terms of attracting super beautiful women?
No, well, first of all, he'll tell you that the guy who gets the hottest women is me, number one, or Marcel. He might say Marcel Klein gets hotter girls than me. I disagree with him, but Owen's one of my best friends. No, the difference is Owen does not do direct game. Not the way that you're talking about. It's a little bit different. Owen also wears $200,000 worth of jewelry whenever he goes out, and every fucking girl stops to talk to him, bro. He's got a $200,000 Richard Mille on when we go out. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? But no, Owen's great, man. He's one of my favorite people to go out with. Owen, I'm gonna tell you something about Owen. This where he completely trumps me. Sometimes I don't want to go out and talk to fat girls in the GA. I don't. If I've got clients and there's no hot girls, I don't want to talk to any of them because they're not hot. Owen does not give a shit. He had a compound fracture of his leg. He was in a wheelchair and he went for hours. And like the dude was nonstop. Like it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I'm just like, I don't even care about the girls. I'm just watching Owen. Like the dude is nonstop. Bro, he couldn't walk. He was in a wheelchair talking to girls in a fucking Barney's Beanery in Hollywood. It was crazy.
Legendary.
But I will point out. Owen Cook's Playboy model girlfriend. How did he meet her? How do you meet her, Ice?
Take it. No, not dating.
He met her through me. I introduced him to her. Yeah.
We wanted to be digging. Anyway, my last question, there may be one or two more in the chat, but keep your questions coming in, guys, while we're still here. My last question. Speaking of which, you just mentioned Owen being in a wheelchair, having whatever leg problems, and just being generally crazy as he is. What are your thoughts on Clavicular and the whole Looksmaxxing thing that is now rising higher than ever?
I think there is a massive part of this where there's guys who feel disenfranchised by women, and then they think that the only way to get women is by being good looking. So when they watch him, it allows them to be victims easier. And by the way, he's playing into it. Do you see what he does whenever he finds out a girl has a boyfriend? Have you seen that? He kicks them out. He understands that he's the manifestation of the pain that a lot of these guys have. I obviously the Looksmaxxing stuff is for the most part nonsense, but like the fact that he's doing this, like Clavicular is getting girls because he's getting 2 million views of video on TikTok, and he's the biggest streamer on all of Kick. He's not getting girls just because he's good looking. I know a ton of girls who don't even think he's good looking. That's not the issue. But what I'm saying is he is going to get a ton of girls because of clout, which is ironic because he's telling you that he gets girls because of his looks, but he's not. He's getting girls because of clout. And by the way, I'm not the one who came up with this. People who I know who are very close to him straight up told me this. He goes over the fact that he's not very good at talking to women, that he's very awkward. And so I will tell both of you that if you can get 4 million people to watch you every day while you're walking around live streaming, you will get girls also. You can also get women. I think a part of it's a little bit dangerous. I think he's encouraging people under the age of 25 to take anabolic steroids. That's very problematic. He didn't smoke meth, but he did take some amphetamine in order to lose weight. Some of that is pretty, probably not healthy. Overall, listen, I admire his grift. I admire his work. The fact that the man makes content like this. He went 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 straight days. That's not something I'm willing to do. And he's gotten a ton of success. He's actually, ironically, talking about social circle, he's coming to one of my events in April in Miami.
Here's the funny thing. It's like, hey guys, these women are interested in me, not because I'm live streaming, but because I look so handsome. That's why they're all coming up to me wanting to be on camera, okay?
To be fair, he did admit that the clout changed it for him. He went on Fresh and Fit and he talked about, I was a straight up black pillar and I'm not anymore.
Yeah, I think it's nonsense. I think it's breeding insecurity. I think it's sending the wrong message to young men. Do you really need to do bone smashing to be attractive to women? And it's like, we can see examples everywhere, including your clients, Michael, including my clients, not particularly great looking guys, but they have success with women. So, it's like, if you look at, yes, it's the clout. Yes, it's the fame. Yes, it's the fact that he's got lots of subscribers. But I've seen better looking guys in clubs and in social gatherings than that guy, and they get nothing because they're stifled. Yeah. If you actually look at the way that guy communicates, it's 101 game as well. His voice tonality doesn't slur up. He's got a strong frame. His body language is strong. He's very direct and blunt with women. you know, he has got game. He says he's got no riz. He actually has. You know, if you drop a guy like that in a club talking to women in that same blunt way, he's going to get attraction. I don't think it's his looks.
Yeah, well, I also think because he's had so much positive reference experience with women, he's just going to get good with women. There's a ton of data on this where what they were looking for the predictive measure of whether or not a guy would do good on a first date, and the number one predictive measure was how many women he had slept with previous to that first date, which obviously makes sense. But I think that's what's happening with Clavicular. He's getting to the point where he's just blunt because he's like, I don't want to waste time. Let's just go for it. And he's got so much clout and so many famous people watching him that these girls like. They're just cheating on their fucking boyfriends with him left and right. It's such an incredible blight on society. Not him. I'm not blaming Braden for any of this. What I'm saying is he is really magnifying the worst part of male-female dynamics, and he would probably admit that as well. And in doing so, he's really getting all these 13 to like 19, 17-year-old spurred kids to be like, yeah, he fucked that girl because he's fuck that girl for me, bro, because I can't fuck her because I'm not a Chad like you. They're so covered in their fucking their blanket of victimhood. They're so happy to see him do that. Real talk. It was Nick Fuentes who said this first. He goes, you guys don't know what someone like Clavicular means to us. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? And then I went and checked and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. He speaks to the incel. Because the incel believes the incel cannot get women because of his looks, and Clavicular can. And by the way, King 68 does the same thing. He speaks to the incel. The incel sees a very warm, cozy victimhood blanket for themselves whenever they watch those people's content. I'm not trying to knock them. I think what King 68 talks about is pretty cool. I just don't know how much. I don't really listen to a lot of male models when it comes to being a dating coach. There's nothing wrong with it. Like if you're a male model or whatever, I just think that there's certain struggles that you kind of have to go through that some of these guys don't.
Yeah. Got a question here in the chat. I love this question because I got an article about this coming out in a few days. Based on Mike's experience, is it easy to sell the idea of polygamy to a woman you've just started dating?
Yeah, this is top 5 most common question I get because all the girls that I date we see other women together. So I will tell you the thing about this is you don't want to sell it. It's not about selling. So for me, the way it works is this: there's 3 types of threesomes. So I'm talking about threesomes. I know it's polygamy is that what you're asking about, but we'll just use threesomes as like a micro example. There's 3 types of threesomes. There's the Coke, Molly, money in Ibiza, getting really fucked up, and 2 girls who aren't attracted to each other, bang some rich guy threesome. Then there's the Drake, Chris Hemsworth threesome where 2 girls end up banging a guy because he's super famous and they just want to like hook up with him. And then there's the most common type of threesome, which is I'm with a girl who likes to fuck women. That is the one that is the most consistent that I've seen. And so I kind of am more attuned to women who like other women. And one of the questions I ask is, have you ever dated a woman? And depending on that answer is kind of depending on whether or not I'd be in a relationship with her. Trying to get a woman who doesn't really like to have threesomes with you, you can definitely do it. I've definitely done that before. It's just not as stable. It's more like the 3-body problem in physics. It becomes very unstable very quickly. Whereas for me, if you have a throuple, the base of the throuple is the gayness of the 2 women for each other. It just makes it for you as a man, you have to do less work when the 2 women are super attracted to each other.
Mystery is in the chat. Hey guys, Mystery here. I'm presenting in Las Vegas. Just want to cast my vote for Michael Sartain.
It's not fair. He's my friend. He stays in my guest room. That's not fair. That's not a fair vote. That's not fair. He's biased. I love you. Love you, Eric.
To avoid paying rent.
Yeah. Next 8 tomorrow night, Eric. Let's go to dinner.
Nice. Let's see what else. Related comment. At least there are some more questions. Social circle game is probably best for harem game. Dan Mazarian, Huge Hefner. Oh, what a guy! That Huge Hefner. That's
Hefner, bro.
Candy.
That would be my poor name. Huge Hefner.
I got a question here. Can someone do MOA immersion without signing up for MOA?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna get in so much trouble for my guys from this. my sales team is so big and intricate that I don't know. Sometimes they offer things that I'm not aware of. Yes, I was not aware of this, but you can do immersion without doing MOA. A lot of guys want to do this. Now, what happens is as soon as you do immersion, everyone wants to do MOA. It's a little bit problematic. I would not recommend it. I would recommend you join MOA and then do immersion. And you can also join MOA, and there are immersion packages in it. So I'll just let you guys know, when I first started this journey, let's say 19, 20 years ago, I would go and I would spend every single day of leave that I had from the U.S. military, I would spend it at some kind of boot camp. It wasn't always pickup. There were other types of boot camps, like business boot camps, whatever. I never went on vacation. For almost 20 years, I never went on vacation one day. Every single day of leave I had, I was either at some boot camp for business, sales training, pickup, dating, whatever. That's what I did. So what I did was there's a package that you can get that gets unlimited calls with me for a year and unlimited immersions for a year. And you guys can check that out if you want.
Question here. Can Michael Sartain elaborate why he hates matchmakers like Blaine Anderson? Isn't that sort of an elite social circle where women are setting you up with women? Explain yourself.
Except you pay. That's the last part. I like Blaine. Blaine is a terrific content creator. But Blaine went on fucking Shark Tank and she goes, I did $900,000 this year. That was the most anyone's ever done. And I'm like, Blaine, like, why are you up here lying on television? Like Blaine wouldn't even be in the top 10. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about, like, I'm pretty sure Max Reichert did more than that. Not Max Reichert, RSD Max. I'm sure RSD Max. I know RSD did more than that. So that's when she said that, I kind of like, yo, you're kind of talking shit here. The thing is, I don't have a problem with Blaine with her dating advice. I find it very entertaining. She literally bought a car so that she had better sound, and she makes these she's a better content creator than I am. Definitely. My issue is the matchmaker part. Matchmaking, I know Patty Stanger. Matchmakers, whenever you're a guy and you go to a matchmaker, what's the number one thing the matchmaker wants to know about you? Ice? What's the number one thing the matchmaker? Right? Okay, cool. And when women go to a matchmaker, what's the first thing that the matchmaker tells the woman about the guy that you're about to go out with?
I don't watch those shows, man.
It's money. It's money. It wasn't called Aura Maxing Matchmaker. It wasn't called Good Vibes Matchmaker. The show was called Millionaire Matchmaker. My problem with matchmaking is that matchmaking, the initial vibe always comes from money, and there is no way to generate genuine desire with a woman when you lead with money. It is impossible. You can have genuine desire with a woman and she has a ton of incredible sex with you, and then you want to support her financially afterward. You can go in that direction, but you can't start with money and then go to genuine desire.
You were on Millionaire Matt. Is that the?
I was. I had a casting director approach me. By the way, you want to know something else? 15 years ago, I got cast for the Bachelorette. I went to the meeting, I met with them, and you know what happened when I went there? First off, they were like, you are too fucking old. That's the first thing, because it was not age appropriate to have a 38. I was 38 back then. And then number two, they were like, do you drink? And I was like, no, I don't drink. And they're like, see ya, next. They don't want people in the show who don't drink.
It's all fucking, it's TV. It's all
by the way, but all the stuff I was on, I'll say this now because I don't give a shit, because I was on like a ton of reality shows. It's all fake. All of it's fake. You cannot tell how much money I have. None of it's fucking real. Don't believe in. They were giving McDonald's to the fucking people on Survivor. None of it's real. None of it. They tell you what to say. It's as bad. It's as cynical as you actually think it is. Don't believe. I was trying to meet chicks in LA, so I've gone to a bunch of reality shows, and I did. I met a ton of girls from different castings. I was involved with different casting agencies. I would go to different. It was like going to be an extra in a movie. If you guys have ever seen the movie The Fabulous Burt Wonderstone, I was in that movie. I sat there with Olivia Wilde for 3 hours just talking to her. You get to meet so many people being an extra in a movie. If you guys know what I'm talking about, have you ever tried it? So that was kind of like early game for me when I first moved to LA. I was trying to be an actor, and I met a ton of women that way by going to different castings.
Damn. Speaking of fake, one thing I noticed in the media, like TV, mainstream media articles and shit like that. Obviously, there was this very famous Netflix documentary recently, Inside the Manosphere by Louis Theroux. They wanted to talk to you. Well, I'm pretty sure they did talk to you. And of course, they ended up following around some random TikTok guy, Myron Gaines, Justin Waller. I introduced Justin Waller to the team, to the documentary guys.
They didn't. I don't think they reached out to me, Ice. I think what happened is they looked at like most of my content. There's no, because I never call women bitches or hoes, and I don't. All my content is based on evolutionary psychology data. It would be very boring if they had me on that show.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, let's find this random English guy who's on TikTok. Like anyone gives a shit about TikTok in the first place.
He looked
like, hey,
the most like
Andrew.
Manosphere. He looked the most like Andrew Tate of anyone they could find. He had the deep British accent. He looked like he had there's certain words they both say. Andrew's Luton accent kind of has faded over time, but like he has a very, very similar type of individuals. I don't know HS Tiki Taki. Obviously, I know Justin Waller very well. He's one of my good friends. And then obviously Myron and I are pretty close. And then I know Sneeko. We've hung out several. Funny enough, Sneeko came to my my bikini competition 2 years ago. And then I don't know HS Tiki Taki at all. But yeah, you're right. They were trying to find the most extreme examples that they could. And realistically, they looked at my content. They looked at Logan Duong. You know who he is? He's a Marine. He's actually active duty Marines, and he teaches dating stuff. And they filmed Logan for several days, and they couldn't find anything that to nail him. So they just scrapped all the footage.
Yeah, they were talking to me too, and I was connecting them with a bunch of people, of course.
I wish they had put me in, but it would have been really embarrassing for them.
No, the thing is, like, I asked them, like, what is the manosphere anyway? Like, why aren't gay people considered part of? They're into men. They are men. They're all about men. Why aren't they part of the manosphere?
Maybe they are. If they're trying to get you to level up, you can have gay people in the manosphere. I think maybe not Myron and Sneeko's part of the manosphere. You can't have them in HS Tiki Taki's part of the manosphere. They'll fucking burn them at the stake.
My argument is obviously in the media and documentaries like this, they're like they want to portray it that let's find the most controversial motherfuckers possible. Justin Waller, I wouldn't say he's controversial, really. He came out best on that.
Yo, did you not? I had more respect for him. You have a beautiful wife who fucks women with you. You have 3 gorgeous children with your beautiful wife, and you bought them a beautiful house, and she's super, super attractive and totally down for you. And I'm supposed to not like Justin Waller? Eat a dick.
Bro, that was intelligent, man.
Bro, she's intelligent. Yo, I met her. She's incredibly beautiful in person and a wonderful person. Bro, any of you would be so lucky to have a woman like that. Bro, get out of your mind. Justin Waller, after that, I had more respect for Justin after that whole thing than before. And here's the funny part, because nobody talks about this. So his wife, she's bisexual. Well, that's LBGT, and Louis has to be very careful about shaming someone for being LGBT. So he makes it about her being extorted or forced to let him have sex with other women, and they have to skip the part about the fact where she wants to have sex with women with him. They have to skip that because then she's a protected class. She's bisexual. Notice how they tightrope through that part of the that whole part of the thing. So yeah, no, Justin's the man. The dude's awesome.
Interesting. Didn't think of it that way, but it makes sense. Yeah, I think I made an article about it recently, and my argument is, obviously they're going for controversial people, but the message that we should have is like the people we should have at the very front of the manosphere should be literal fathers, people who have children, people like Justin Waller, not just Justin Waller, but I have a daughter myself and I'm putting out the right messages, but they don't care about that. They want the controversial shit. I'm not controversial enough. I'm Jewish, so I can say I'm not circumcised or anything. I'm not religious. My ancestors were Jews like 150 years ago. So I can get away with a few things, but I'm just not controversial. So they're never going to have an interest in someone like me. So they paint the manosphere as this corner over here.
Yeah, I think it's deeper than that. I think if you can show proof of what you're doing in a dispassionate way, they have no interest for you. Like, can you imagine if I had to debate, like we're debating about picking up chicks. Imagine if I had to debate someone, the whole thing was men aren't suffering at all. And men are all, did you hear Kim Kardashian or Khloe Kardashian go out there and say all men are having sex right now? Did you hear that shit she said the other day? It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, that's what we're fighting against. Can you imagine if I got to debate someone like that? I would rip them in half. So, like, that's the reason. Why would you have me on your show? You wouldn't do that, because I can show you data that's going to back up every one of my points. The pay wage gap, that's not real. Pay wage gap is a childcare gap. Richard Reeves puts that in his book. He's a liberal from the UK who admits that the pay wage gap is a childcare gap. They even tested this. They do studies with lesbian couples, and the member that stays home with the child, she makes less money than the other one, just like a heterosexual couple. And so when you say that, now I have proof that there's no pay wage gap. How would that go over on Oprah Winfrey if I said that shit? Boom. Like, I'm done. I'm canceled.
Cancel.
Hey, can we go over the Richard Mill one? Because that's a very important one.
Oh, wait, where's that?
Optioning.
This one. Is it this one? There is no way women can tell a Richie Millie from a fake, or what do you do? Who is that? Yeah.
So Richard Mill is the most expensive, I believe the most expensive watch in the world there is. There's $1 million one. I was with Bulzarian one night at a fight, and he had a Richard Mill taken off his wrist. They used a razor blade. They cut the leather part off and took it off him. He had a $1 million watch stolen from him at a Canelo fight. And so it's a watch. I'll show you. If you look up a picture, if you guys want to look it up. Anyway, the watch I think the cheapest Richard Mill is 80,000. I think there's Brandon Carter had one that was $200K that he was wearing. The thing is now, because of 3D printing, you now have Richard Mills that you can buy for $2 or $5K. And I'm telling you, no one can tell the difference. And my whole point in expressing this is, how can you guys think that status is real? There's no such thing as a meritocracy. Status is only perceived. If you like, there's a guy right now who pretended to be Lionel Messi. He had sex with 23 women, and then they sued him afterwards. And my whole point was, they sued him. Well, how about Lionel Messi's wife suing them because they had sex with a guy just because of his status? That's the whole thing. Status is only perceived.
Yeah, just like I was saying with fucking clavicular streaming. Got a few other questions here. I know I'm jumping around to different parts. Do you recommend men go to swinger party as a bull? Like, what does this even mean? Like Sterling Cooper, in order to get immersed in this fucking swingers.
So there's the girl, and then there's the cuck who sits in the cuck chair, and then there's the bull who has sex with the woman in front of the cuck. That's what he's saying.
My policy is, I'm the only man in the room. I just can't just.
Agreed.
To me, I'm like that Uganda guy. Why are you gay? That's just, if there could be 100 women in the room, no problem. 100 women and one other guy, no, that's not for me. That's just, I don't want to be like homophobic or anything, but yeah, just not my thing. I don't think we're really going to answer that though. Question for Dean. What are Dean's favorite countries to game in? And doesn't he think when he games foreign women, his status as a British colonizer with a British colonizer accent, does the heavy colonization for him?
No, man. We've got a bad reputation in a lot of countries. Like you said, about the fighting late at night. We're known as the hooligans. We go to Spain, we go to Italy. The Italian women look down on us. So maybe it helps me in certain countries, but it definitely doesn't in others, especially in Europe. We're known as absolute rogues. So what are my favorite countries? I like Barcelona. Of course, I like Bali. It's a chill place. Miami, I went out there. People were saying, oh, I've seen you in field, and that wouldn't work in Miami. And, like Michael says, you can't go direct on girls in Miami. And America's like, I went out there. I did it. It worked. So yeah, Miami. I like Miami. I like Barcelona. I like Bali. I like Manchester, England. That's a nice place to go. Those are my favorite places. Usually get a lot of hot girls. Spain in general. Madrid, always good. Yeah.
Ride your bike from Manchester to Liverpool. It's funny, just 30 minutes before we started this stream, I was in a Japanese restaurant here in Peru, Lima, Peru. Lots of Japanese people here, by the way. And on the TV above me, in Spanish, in the Peruvian news, it was saying something about Liverpool fans in Paris. I don't know the context, but I'm assuming they were causing trouble or something. So yeah, just throwing that out there. Anyway, that looks like all the questions we got. Is there any final stuff you guys want to say?
You want to go first, Michael?
Yeah, please please hey, just go to my YouTube channel, man, if you guys want to learn more stuff. So what I do is I have my my sales team. They write down these messages and we try to keep a statistical log of like what most people are having trouble with who come to us. And for us, obviously, the number one thing is that dating apps have not worked for them. So that's been really strong for us. And another one is guys who want to go out and meet beautiful women without drinking. Those are probably the two of the biggest ones. And the third one is, you know, it's been very difficult for them to find locations where there are attractive women. That's been the three main ones. If you guys are interested in learning more about how to overcome that, go to my YouTube channel. There's a playlist called the Limiting Belief playlist. In that playlist, I have one called Why Are Average Guys Going Out with Tens, But You're Not? I have ones that go over how to get into a long-term relationship. Just the things that you guys have given me, the feedback that you guys have given me, I'm using that feedback in order to create content. I only create content for my clients, except for the flat earth shit. That is for me. But the rest of it I'm creating for my clients. So I'd love if you guys went and checked that out and then just gave me your feedback. And for the rest of you guys who were asking, just go on Skool, Skool. That's the Sam Ovens, Alex Hermosi platform. Go on Skool and look up Men of Action Mentoring. I believe it's $5 a month in order for you guys to join. And there's a course in there called High Status Networking 101. When you do that course, it's going to teach you the first 4 steps of MOA. So I'd highly recommend you guys check that out. And if you guys follow me, I'll also let you guys know all the different events that I'm hosting. If you're in town next Friday on the 17th, I'm hosting Babes in Toyland Goes Country. On the 16th or on the 17th of May, I'm hosting Babes in Toyland White Party in Miami.
Oh,
yeah, was a good conversation. I think obviously we're in very different niches, we're in very different focuses what we teach guys. But for me, I like to resonate with the guys that really want to work on their confidence, their social skills, learn how to meet women in real life situations and not have to rely on social circle or being introduced by other people. So putting the ball in your own court, giving yourself the power to be able to go out there, get rid of your inhibitions, express yourself, and learn how to build attraction with the women that you see that you find attractive. So this is more about getting out of your head. This is more about your communication, your frequency, your vibe. If you want to learn how to improve that, check out Dean Raymond Dating on Instagram. Succeed in Dating on YouTube. That's about it, really. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Good to have a chat, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. You guys come, any of you guys come visit me in Las Vegas. We'll go off and act like degenerates. If
I'll
you're
show you how to do cold break.
If you're scared,
women
you're scared of fake boobs. If you're scared of fake boobs, don't come. Stay away from me.
Women with their titties out covered in
oh my God, so promiscuous.
Your wife sees it and she's like,
hey, can I say one last thing before we go? Put a 1 in the chat if you know this isn't true. If Louis Theroux had his wife say, hey, I want to have sex with you and other attractive women, put a 1 in the chat if you know that Louis Theroux would say yes to that. If you know that Louis Theroux is full of shit, and if his wife let him fuck other women, that he wouldn't jump on the chance, put a 1 in the chat, and then you tell me what's wrong with Justin Waller.
And by the way, he is a rapper as well, so he'll definitely do that. Anyway, there we go. Game over. Strange thing to say. What do I normally fucking say? It's been so long since I've done these kind of live streams. Fuck, I'll try to remember for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing Arash D. Bazar, and on Monday, I'm interviewing Marianne Delacroix, a French-Canadian submissive woman. So we're going to deal with topics around, should women be submissive? How can you get a submissive woman? Or how can you get your woman to be submissive to you? We're going to explore that kind of thing. So catch you guys on the other side. Thanks to you guys for coming here. If you guys are interested in looking into Michael Sartain's or Dean Raymond's stuff, we got links in the description and in the pinned comment. So jump through that shit. Catch you guys on the other side. Game on. That's what I said. Awesome. Game on. What the fuck is wrong?
I'm gonna have my team clip this. You send me any clip you want. Will you send me a collaboration request on YouTube right now for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wait, I obviously has to settle and they do the transcript or whatever. Just send me a collaboration request and I'll do it on there.
All right.
Sound good? Yeah, I'm open to do more of these. Just they have